Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 3 of Magik, written by Ashley Allen and art by German Peralta. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. So with that said, this issue opens a little after where the last issue left off, with Magik running through a city. As a voice called out to her saying, "You can't keep running away from me, Ileana." But as Magik continued to maintain her pace, her narration went as follows: "I've been trapped in Liminal's domain for weeks, unable to use my portals. Barely able to manage the simplest spells. He's tried to make me a helpless target. Unfortunately for him, that's not an easy task to accomplish." And before Magik knew it, Liminal was standing just inches before Magik, and in his regal voice, he said, "I just want to talk, you owe me that much in my home." But like the boss Magik is, she shouts that she owes him nothing. Which was the wrong thing Liminal wanted to hear, because with a snap of his finger, Liminal compared talking with Magik to talking to a child as one of his demons appeared behind her. With the fight on, Magik asks how did Liminal knew what was in her mind as she continues to narrate saying, "Cat, Limbo's version of Kitty Pryde, helped me rebel against Belasco. And I still couldn't save her from his dark magic." Following that, Magik continued to fight off Cat as Liminal stated, "You're like an open book to me, Ileana. I understand you and your mistakes. You peered into my head, so I thought I'd do the same to you. A connection so easily forged cannot be so easily closed. I see patterns of your friends getting hurt by those around you, by yourself. I've done you a favor, trapping you here. Nothing to worry about anymore other than yourself." But as the lord of this land continued to speak, Magik just continued to narrate, "I tried to ignore his comments, but for weeks, he hunted me with the manifestations of my mistakes. What magic drives him? I've never seen a being so intertwined with a domain before, other than myself with Limbo." And with a burst of energy, Magik tossed Cat and shouted how if Liminal knew her so well then he would know that she hated being trapped. But before Cat could crash into him, he stated, "Oh Ileana, you wound me. Why are you always so combative? I just want to talk." "Fine, have it your way. I can be your enemy if that makes you feel better. Perhaps a few enemies from your past will suffice. I can manifest such constructs from my domain. You say you lack the power to change your situation, but that's not quite true. You just refuse to tap into it. Are you used to feeling powerless? Why not change that?" So with the creatures upon Magik, Liminal just continues to say, "You do not have to be the victim. You were in Limbo. Darkchild, your demonic half formed in Limbo, would have the strength to mold reality to your desire." But Magik was not about to be overcome despite how many demons were sent her way. With the will to fight burning within her, Magik continued to narrate, "I do feel powerless on Earth. My magic would have destroyed such hollow shades. Here, I can only manage to push them back. Yet we all have limitations." So with Magik fighting with all her might, she shouted, "Only 6 constructs," insulting, and then made her escape. And as she ran, Liminal continued to say, "Don't misunderstand me. I know you're a threat. That's why I find you so intriguing. I've seen you, and I know you. I know your biggest fear is that no one will ever understand you. That there is something fundamentally wrong with you." So as Magik hid, Liminal walked up behind her and changed his appearance to Belasco, the demon who dragged Magik to hell. Now this was so traumatic that just a word of his voice made her feel like she never left Limbo. But Magik also knows that she isn't a child anymore, and she doesn't tolerate threats. So taking a play out of Liminal's book, Magik snapped her fingers and said, "While you might control this domain, you aren't omniscient. My magical power may be weak, but I can still manage this basic spell. Bind your consciousness to a single form. Prevent your means of escape. How does it feel being unable to transfer your consciousness to your constructs? You fell for my trap. There is nowhere to hide. And now I'm on the attack." So with the tables turned, Magik jumped into the air and was about to bring her flaming sword down, and was moments away from connecting, when Liminal escaped into a nearby wall and said, "You continue to impress me more and more." With Magik following moments behind, Liminal continues to say, "I knew you'd be worthy. I adore games, but you can't stop humoring me. I tire of this chase. I believe there might have been a misunderstanding." But like we've seen before, Magik wasn't up for games as she threw her sword towards Liminal's head and said, "The time for talk is over. I'll exact vengeance for every single mutant you've murdered. And that will be just the beginning." So with one slash missing terribly, Magik quickly went for a follow-up strike as Liminal said, "Murdered? Again you misunderstand. They're still alive and well, resting as dolls in my domain. They're happy and blank, ready to serve my will. And as the blade connected with Liminal, Magik replied by saying, "Like hell they are. They're dead and you can't change that. Let's play a game. I'll kill you before you kill me." With the hit delivered, Liminal just smiled and said, "Kill you? Why would I want to kill you? You are a gift to me, one that I intend to collect." Once that was said, Magik freaked out and demanded for him to release her and followed up by saying, "I've brought down demonic regimes before. Yours will be no different." And once again, Liminal said, "Calm down, you are purposely misunderstanding my words." And with a burst of energy, Liminal shouted enough and used its shockwave to push Magik back. So with the strike delivered, Liminal stood there with his hand on his face as a chunk of his mask laid upon the ground. And as he picked it up, Liminal said, "I never wanted you to see me like this. I wish to hide the uglier parts of my form," and my Magik responded, slowly rebuilding my shell, however weak. "Alas, sometimes I lose myself. I let my emotions get the better of me. I'll try not to let it happen again around you. It seems we're at an impasse. You want to leave. I want you to stay. I'm a reasonable man, but I cannot let you go if you continue to thwart the destruction of my prison seals. I slumbered for centuries, yet the speed of modern life created more liminal spaces, more spaces of transition. My restraints weakened. And just like that, I woke up. I've been watching you. At first, I was annoyed. But the more I saw, the more I realized how similar we are. I'm impressed, more than impressed. I'm enraptured by you. My past is blurry, but I remember, for a time, it was peaceful and bright. I had those who cared for me, yet it was all too easy for a child to go missing. An accident occur. It was a time of magic, of wonder. An era of experimentation. My story is unfortunately not unique. These mages wanted to grow their own power, escape their humanity to ascend to something more. However, a ritual like this requires sacrifice. One the mages were not willing to make themselves. A forced shedding of humanity, my genesis, and my evolution. So with that revealed, Magik went on to say, "I understand the experience intimately. Waiting for someone to save you and instead having to take on that burden yourself. A monster or a child begging for help, gathering power to make sure nothing ever harms him again. I had others to make sure I didn't fall into limbo's horrors. You had no one. Let me help you, we can find a way forward." With Magik's hand outstretched, Liminal replied by saying, "There's nothing to help, I don't really remember it, I was pitiful. Now I am something more. I effectively brought all life under my control. Until a society of mages bound me. While different than the mages who created me, this society was just as cruel. I woke up in this realm, alone in darkness. However, as I grew, my prison became me and I it. My magic intertwined with my domain. This is why you struggle to use your powers. It would be similar if I went to your home, Limbo. And this domain will not be mine for much longer. I see the key to my freedom. In my past attempts, human DNA did not yield enough energy to break my seals. Mutant DNA, however, well, let's just say they prove useful, whether as dolls or as fuel. I had my humanity peeled away to reveal who I really was underneath. I offer the same gift to you. I'm lonely, I've craved someone who could understand me. And I'm so lucky to have found you. We don't have to be alone anymore. I'm here now. Together, we can make a world where we can be the ones in power. We can be safe. You have to understand. You're the only one who can." Now to that, Magik replied by saying, "I can understand, but I cannot condone your behavior." Now this led Liminal to lash out and say, "Stop looking down on me. Stop resisting your true self. We were both forced into demonic deals. If I became this monster, so will you, we're the same." With a little bit of Liminal's thought process revealed, Magik, always the tactician, started formulating a plan and said she would play his game. This led Liminal to say, "I knew you'd see reason, I'll reward your understanding with a gift. Your freedom for a price. This is all for you. I want you to be your true self on Earth. Let me release the chains of Darkchild. This will be the only way I'll allow you to leave." With a laugh, Magik stated that that wasn't possible. Her mental barrier against her is too strong. But this was of no concern to Liminal because he followed up by saying, "Oh, but it is possible. I control my puppets through mental means. If you allow it, I can rip down your mental defenses against Darkchild's influence. I'm not unreasonable. I won't force Darkchild to emerge. After all, if you really are in control and she isn't your true self, what worries should you have? I'm willing to play this game. I know you'll fail and come to me willingly. But I've waited a long time for my freedom. Our deal will last for 3 weeks. You stop me, I remove any traces left of Darkchild. I won't let you keep running." With that choice out there, Magik went on to think to herself, this is a bad deal, but what choice do I have? If I win, you will finally be freed from my past and my evil self that hunts me. Following that, Liminal went on to say Darkchild is louder than her thoughts. To which Magik replied by saying, I will prove you wrong, and by the time I'm finished you will beg for my mercy. Beg to be trapped once more. So with the deal struck, Liminal said, I'm giving you a chance to escape, because I want you to come to me with your own free will. But make no mistake, I still want you by my side. I do not mind waiting. And just like that, Magik appeared in Tokyo, and the first thing she wanted to do was find Cal, which she discovered was currently in Ecuador. So with a lot to catch up on, Magik opened a portal and teleported there. And when she got there, Magik gave him a hug and said, I'm so sorry, I left you for weeks alone, I'm so relieved you're okay. Now this threw Cal off because he thought he would never see her again, and to that, Magik replied by saying, I put a magical tracker on you in case we were separated. With that out there, Cal was a little taken back, because, from his perspective, Magik was only gone for 3 days. And during those 3 days so much have went down, another seal was broken, and Liminal's friends used Magik's disappearance as a distraction. And then Cal went on to say, don't worry, I found the next seal. I flew here immediately since I didn't know how long you'd be gone. I found someone who can help us, she left to grab supplies, but she'll be back soon. But now that you're back, I want you to take a look at the journal to verify my work. But before Cal could hand her the book, Magik replied by saying, there's something you should know, I met Liminal and escaped. I was forced to make a deal. The restraints on Darkchild have been released. We have 3 weeks to defeat Liminal before I am fully lost to my darker half. With that out there, Cal was like, wow, I can't believe you keep making decisions without talking to me. First, the tracker, then the deal. Why would you do that? We could have found a different way. Now to Magik's credit, she made a good point, because within the 3 days she was gone Liminal had already broken another seal, so what if she stayed gone for a week or a month, what would they have done? But regardless of the points Magik brought up, Cal was just doubting her and started to question why Liminal let her go. But before they could dig too deep into the conversation, a voice came out from the woods saying that she hoped she not interrupting something. And on the last page, we see Danny walking up with her supplies asking, what have you gotten yourself into this time? So with that said, this issue of Magik comes to an end with Magik running into the last person she wanted to. Now down in the comment section below let me know your thoughts about this issue and what predictions you could have moving forward. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.